All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Todd Gloria. I'm honored and pleased to be the mayor of this great city of San Diego, and I'm joined by a number of my good friends. First among them is City Council Member Kent Lee, whose district we're in today. We also joined this morning by Chris Cate, who is the chair of the Mira Mesa Planning Group, as well as a former city council member. These two gentlemen together over what isn't it, like 3 terms they're getting this done. That's good. I'm glad they're both here. Barry Vaz, who is the president of the Mira Mesa Town Council and just a do-gooder of all things positive across our city. Where's Barry at? There she is. And then Joe Frechtel, who is the chair of the Mira Mesa Recreation Council, also really important contributor to today's good news, as well as a lot of other Mira Mesa community leaders who are here. I want to thank every one of the community leaders who here. I can speak on behalf of Councilmember Lee, as former Councilmember Cate. We rely on you all to know what needs to get done around here, and I'll tell you a little more story about that in just a moment. On the city side of the house, I want to share that we have our acting deputy chief operating officer, Rania Eman, is here. Rania, where are you at? There she is, right over here. As well as our park and recreation director, Andy Field, and his entire park and rec team. Give it up for Andy and his folks. Very good. And I haven't seen him yet, but I know none of this happens without him. Louis Shar, who is our acting director of engineering and capital projects, as well as the ENCP team. Our ENCP, where are they at? All of our engineers. You can't do it without engineers, contractors, all those good folks. Really, really important. So we are here today in Mira Mesa to kick off the next phase of the construction of the new and dramatically improved Mira Mesa Community Park. Now, this has been a long time in the coming, and forgive me for giving you just a quick story. During my first press conference here in Mira Mesa after becoming your mayor, I remember Joe insisting on speaking with me when we were done with the program. And Joe pulled me aside to tell me about how important it was to him and his neighbors that we fully fund the construction of Mira Mesa Community Park Phase 2. He explained that the community had been waiting on this for 20 years. Now, many of you know I am famously impatient, but I think everyone can agree that 2 decades is far, far too long to wait for a project of this importance for our community. And Mira Mesa, I'm here to tell you that we are finally getting this long-awaited park improvement project underway. As you may know, Mira Mesa Community Park totals more than 28 acres, divided into 2 areas separated by New Salem Street. Phase 1 of this project was completed a few years ago, and it improved an 11-acre portion of the park that sits on the other side of New Salem. Now, that phase included new baseball fields, a children's play area, and other improvements. And today we're beginning construction right here on the remaining 17 acres of the park, and it is a massive project. You can see for yourself. This project, when complete, will feature a new aquatics complex as well as an all-wheel plaza. I'll let the young people tell you what that is. Meanwhile, it would also I'm sorry, no, I'm going to tell you what it is because Dave told me to tell you. All-wheel plaza, what is that? Let me tell you. It is not just a skate park, but it would also accommodate scooter riders, roller skaters, BMX riders, as well as wheelchair riders. That all-wheel plaza. It will also include 2 new children play areas, 2 multi-use sports courts, turf areas, public art, as well as renovations to the existing recreation center. We are also making much-needed improvements to the parking lot. You can see those are overdue. To the walkways, to lighting, to landscaping, to irrigation. Basically, this is a whole-scale remodel and glow-up for this park that Mira Mesa definitely loves and will love a whole lot more when we're done. I want to thank each and every person who is with us here today for being so engaged in this process to improve quality of life in this great neighborhood of our city. Improving our parks and ensuring that all San Diegans can access quality parks and recreation space is a key priority for my administration. And I'm pleased to tell you that Mira Mesa is not alone in terms of getting this kind of work in their neighborhood. There are communities across the city of San Diego who are experiencing this same thing. Many of you have been with me at some of those, but let me remind you, over the past couple of weeks, we've broken ground on the new Bayer Park down in San Ysidro. We've broken ground on improvements to the Olive Grove Park in Claremont. And we're about to break ground on a new project at Marcy Park in University City, as well as cut the ribbon on improvements to the Riviera del Sol Park down in Otay Mesa. In all, by the end of this year, we will have begun construction on 24 new or improved parks in this calendar year alone. And that's with another 24 more on tap in 2025. Guys, that's a lot of park improvements, and that's definitely something I'm very excited about. So along with improved infrastructure projects like roads and walkways, sidewalks, we're investing in parks to improve the quality of life throughout the great city of San Diego. And that work is not possible without the partnership of our city council. And here to tell you a little bit more about that is the council member who represents this great district and the community of Mira Mesa, my friend, Councilmember Kent Lee. Councilmember?
Thank you, Mayor Gloria. And first off, I want to take a moment to thank our city departments, directors, and team members from Park and Rec and Engineering Capital Projects for making this project possible. Today is a significant day in Mira Mesa, a community I'm not only honored to represent as a part of District 6, but the community that my wife, my 2 young kids, and I are proud to call home. As a Mira Mesa resident now for over 18 years, and as a former volunteer as part of our local community planning group, I am excited. Mira Mesa residents have been looking forward to these park improvements for a long time. And after all of these years, we can finally see that progress is being made. The patience and perseverance of our community is finally being rewarded, as years of work and advocacy from our community leaders, my predecessor, and our office have altogether led to this groundbreaking. We can't wait for this project to be finished because the Mira Mesa community is growing, and the need for recreational spaces is clear. The Mira Mesa Community Park and the Gil Johnson Recreation Center serve as a hub for this activity. What seems like just a few years ago, the city celebrated the completion of Mira Mesa's Community Park Phase 1 improvements right north of here. And today we're breaking ground on Phase 2 with so many great additions, including a new aquatic complex, which contains a 14-lane competition-sized pool, an activity pool, and a splash pad for kids. This is especially significant for our students from Mira Mesa High School right across the street, because the pool will be able to be used by local swim and water polo teams so that finally students can stay close to home for practices and even competitions. There's also the new all-wheels park and plaza that the mayor shared, basketball courts, and not just one but 2 children's play areas, all to ensure that kids and teens of all ages can have a safe space to play and to socialize. The Gil Johnson Recreation Center, which needs significant repairs, will finally be renovated, including new heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, new paint, replacement of old and rotten wood, and improvements to make the building more accessible for strollers and wheelchairs. Today's groundbreaking comes in a line of numerous significant investments that our city, under this mayor's leadership, has delivered. 24 is a lot of parks just for this year alone. But even within the community of Mira Mesa, we've now just seen the newly reopened Wagenheim Joint Use Park, the soon-to-be-completed Salk Neighborhood Park. Right on the other side of this park, the city and the county have partnered to reopen the Epicenter as a youth-oriented space. Even with all of these improvements, we know that our community can still use additional park and recreational spaces so that our future generations, including my kids, can continue to play, to swim, to skate, and so much more close to home. To my fellow Mira Mesans, we know that the job of improving our community is never done, and you can count on me to keep fighting for the continued investments required to build the recreational amenities that Mira Mesa families deserve. I do want to take a moment to reflect on and thank the numerous community members and leaders that came before me to make this day possible. We've just heard about Joe Frichtel, who's the chair of the Mira Mesa Community Recreational Council, who has fiercely advocated not just for these park improvements, but for every park project and recreational project throughout Mira Mesa. Barry Vaz, Mira Mesa's Town Council President, thank you for your leadership and advocacy throughout the years. Jeff and Pam Stevens, who are longtime community members who have served in various capacities in our planning group and town council. They can tell you the history, probably for every park in this community, and why this has been so long awaited. To the many local students who are here, many who have advocated for aquatic facilities, some in the local high school, for example, knowing that they themselves may not have the opportunity to use it, but they're hopeful that future young swimmers and water polo players from Mira Mesa High School and the community as a whole will be able to enjoy right here in the middle of their community. There are many youth sports coaches, volunteers, and families who've also long awaited these improvements and will be able to use the added space that the additional ball fields and courts and expanded youth sports opportunities might be able to provide. We know that, again, even with these spaces, there's always a need for more. Joined with them today are various other community members represented through the planning group, the town council. We've got friends from the Lao organization here in San Diego who have held their brand new food festival just in the last 2 years. Mira Mesa Little League, who has certainly benefited from some of the improvements, but more are needed. Sereno Valley Town Council, who has helped to partner as well to ensure that their youth are served. I want to thank everyone for being part of today's groundbreaking, but also want to share my thanks for your patience, because there's going to be a lot of construction and a lot of dust around here while crews are doing their thing, but the end will pay off. So finally, speaking of someone who never stops fighting for Mira Mesa, I do want to thank my colleague and friend, former council member Chris Cate, who, as a fellow resident of Mira Mesa, now serves as chair of the Volunteer Community Planning Group. His leadership and commitment helped us realize the Phase 1 park improvements completed back in 2018, which include 4 new baseball fields that I will note are not just a highlight for our Mira Mesa Little League, but are a highlight for Little Leaguers across the region. Chris, thank you for your leadership and your efforts to ensure that funding would continue to be built up in support of these Phase 2 improvements, as I think it's fair to say that without your advocacy, we wouldn't be here today. So please join me in welcoming Mira Mesa Community Planning Group Chair, our former council member for District 6, Chris Cate.
Well, good morning, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for allowing me some time to speak. And this is definitely a day of gratitude and reflection on why we're here and celebrating everything Mira Mesa is about. First and foremost, thank you to the mayor for his tireless leadership and support for Mira Mesa. He has been here many times to celebrate and do press conferences about the amount of money being invested into Mira Mesa. I told him when he came into office that we deep down inside know that Mira Mesa is his favorite. He loves being here, and you're welcome here anytime, sir. We appreciate your commitment to Mira Mesa and the money that we've seen invested in Mira Mesa over the last 4 years has not gone unnoticed, and we appreciate all of your leadership and commitment to that. And to Councilmember Lee, we just switched spots on the planning group and in the city council, but his tireless work as well too in supporting Mira Mesa, making sure that we get what we deserve down at City Hall, and fighting for us on the city council is very much appreciated. Thank you, Councilmember, as well. City staff, who we have bugged for many, many, many years to try to get the improvements completed here. Thank you for your work. We very much appreciate you always hearing us, lending your ear to us, and keeping us informed of what's happening. And we appreciate your commitment to the city and Mira Mesa. And last but not least, to all of the volunteers. Councilmember Lee mentioned a few of them. The folks who are not here with us, I think of Bruce Brown and Ted Bringle, who really spent decades advocating for Mira Mesa, making sure that all the amenities that our great neighborhood needs and deserves gets attended to. And I can't be here today without remembering them and how much effort and commitment they made to Mira Mesa as well. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for allowing me to speak. This is truly, truly a momentous day, and I can't wait for the improvements to be completed. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce our Mira Mesa Town Council President, Barry Voss.
Well, I was hearkening back as I spoke with Joe to a Greek proverb that a society grows great when old men plant trees under which they will never sit. This project has taken quite a long time, and while I would never say to any of the volunteers who are still working on it that they are old, but when this project began, their children would have enjoyed these amenities, and now for many of them, it will be their grandchildren. Joe mentioned to our mayor that it was 20 years. We actually figured it's closer to 30 now, because some of the parts of this plan came to be in this park when we lost our other community park next to Challenger. So this is 30 years of a lot of the volunteers you see here, a lot of the volunteers who we've lost over the years, working hard, knowing that they may never be the ones to benefit from a lot of what's going in today. But they knew that their children and their grandchildren, and more importantly, the entire community of Mira Mesa, all the new residents who have come in, the community has doubled in size over that time and is projected to grow another 50%. They know that while they may never make full use of this, that this community is growing great because of these improvements, and that those who join us as residents here will have these amenities for their children and their families to enjoy for many years to come. So all I can say as a fairly new resident to all of this, I only got here in 2008. The folks who stand behind me and the folks who are no longer with us poured their heart and soul into this. And our council member and past council member and our mayor have put so much work into helping us to make this happen that it's just exciting to be here and finally see the ground broken and know that within the next couple of years, we can walk to this site and watch our children and our grandchildren and the new residents enjoy being a part of one of the greatest communities in San Diego. Now I'm going to introduce Joe Frichtel, President of our Mira Mesa Community Planning Group.
All right, the good news is I'm the last speaker, and my speech is shorter than all those. I want to invite everybody to welcome to Mira Mesa. This is one of the best and largest communities in San Diego. Now, this project has been, like everybody said, over 20 years. PCL Construction has an opportunity to be a star in Mira Mesa, and we will help them be successful. Our project manager, Juliana, is going to be on these people to make sure that they do their job. Unfortunately, two people are not with us today to help celebrate this event. Bruce Brown and Ted Bringle spent a lot of time, a lot of effort in this community, getting to where we are today. And Jeff Stevens, another one's mentioned, has years into this project. I want to thank our area manager, Anna Claudia, and Anna, our district manager, for helping us with all this project. And of course, Andy Field, who's directing Park and Rec and making all this stuff in San Diego happen. Our community is ready to celebrate this pool and skateboard park, and the Caterpillar will be back. So now I want to invite the mayor back up to come up and tell us to go shovel it.
This is usually where I do a long wind down, but we're not doing that. 20 years has been waiting too long. Let's get to it. Let's make this official. Obviously, construction has been going on for a little bit, but we want to do it the right way, have this ceremonial groundbreaking, and then welcome you back in about 2 years when this incredible new amenity will be available to the people of this great community. So let's go break ground. 3, 2, 1.